Hi, welcome to the new video. I am Rohit, Desai, co-founder of GB Experts. In this video, we are going to see how we are going to get the products to Indian markets, or how are we going to send the products outside the Indian markets through sea routes. So here, the majorly why we are choosing the sea routes. Basically the concept here is the prices are a bit cheaper comparing to airlines or any other mode. So if I want to use truck if I want to use the rail options, because both the options are a bit limited, I cannot use it for across all the markets. So sea routes are something which is cheaper, and later I can do a combination. Okay, I'll send it from India to Dubai, and from there I will do a road trip. So even those things are combinational transportations are available, which I can really get the benefit out of it. But when it comes to airlines, it's a bit expensive, but it's faster. Every mode has its own advantages and disadvantages. So let's see if we are going to pick sea roads, because one is cost effectiveness and second is there is no hurry of the product to my buyer, and it's volumetric product, so I can't send it as a bulk, so it will be not viable. So in those cases, sea routes is the best options. And all the exports, whenever you say exports, everyone looks towards the sea route because it's economical. So we will see what is the process that we go through when we are importing or exporting the product through sea routes. Okay, let's get started. Let's first discuss the imports. So when you're planning to import any product from any part of the world to Indian market, the first thing what you need to check is to finalize the supplier. So when it comes to identifying the supplier, negotiating with the deal, saying that okay, what's the prices, what's the quality, what's the quantity, and how are you going to pack it, how are you going to send it, do you have a prior experience in sending it? So these are all the like a patternable questions that you ask to your supplier. So once he's agreed and you have a confidence on him, so see, in today's world I can't say that okay, you're getting an order for a reason, because I have seen people who are very newcomers. If you are able to build the trust, and if you are able to convince the buyer, that's all what it matters. So if the buyer is having confidence in you and he liked you for various reasons, because see what happens here is we make the decisions on emotion first and later we give a logic to it. It's never been the reverse. We give a logic and then after we buy it or we don't buy it. So there are different set of people who comes on board. So you can look for something like this, okay, saying that okay, I'll build a relationship first and then after I'll sell it. So if you're one of that, if people are, you are one of them, and then obviously you will find the set of people similar to that mindset. So probabilities of getting orders are easier. So when you are finalizing a supplier, when you want to import something, you also go on the same mindset saying that, okay, is the person good? Is he ethical? Is he has done business? How do I secure my things? Or what is the payment terms that he's offering? Is it comfortable for me or not? When you are an importer, you are a bit cautious. And when you are an exporter, you want all the money upfront. When you want to pay someone, you always want to say like, okay, I'll secure my payments and all of it. I don't want to give it advance. I'll do it LC, or either I'll do it on a payment like a pay later options or something like that. You want credit when you are an importer, and you want advance when you are an exporter. So that's a basic mindset. So we can't change about it. But still, when you have something like, when you're looking towards saying that, okay, let me put myself in the seller's shoes and then see how the things are happening, then you will find the answer for it. Then you will see how the business has to be done. Okay. So the first thing is you'll identify him, and then once upon the prices are agreed, quantity is agreed, delivery terms are agreed, incoterm has to be finalized based on your incoterm. Either if you have a capacity to get the products from China, if you're CHA or a freight forwarder who has a capacity to do it, then you can work on X works. So he will go all the way to the factory, get all the products loaded, and then he'll come and ship it. So these facilities are available. If you want to enroll, you can ask us, we can help you with that. But if your supplier says that, sir, I can do FOB or CIF, no worries, then you can do the rest part. So the products are going to reach till the Chennai port, Kolkata port, or Mumbai port, or some other ports. In those cases, from there you need to manage the logistics. So once you finalize your orders, your incoterms are being freezed and your prices are done, and you have checked everything compliances part, and then next thing goes with the import licenses. In India, it's like you import, your export and import code helps you to do both the things. Either you can import it or either you can export it. You don't need an additional license. But when it comes to any food products or when it comes to electronical products, there are additional licenses which you need to procure, because on day to see, there is a standardized documentations for all the products, but there are specific documentations which requires only for specific category. And if you are not sure that what licenses you need, you can put it into the comment box. We'll respond to it saying that what are the additional licenses that you need to occur or you need to get it to import or export the products. Then comes the book your container. Either you talk to your freight forwarder, they will choose, you need to tell them that, okay, this is a full container load. I want a full container load quotation. Or you can tell them that, okay, it's a less than container load. So I'm just trying it out. I don't want a whole container. I want just a piece so that I can get it to the Indian market and see whether it is feasible or not. In those cases, this something mechanism can work. Along with that, arrange transportations through a shipping line, and the freight forwarder will take care of end to end, so you don't need to do anything. See, it's all about paying the fee, paying the duty, paying the taxes. Either you pay it. There are 99% of the charges which is going to be directly to the government, which is either you pay it or we pay it or a third party pays it. It has to go. The second thing is the fee. How much are we charging to facilitate this? Because we also, it's a business for us. So in those cases, we also want to make fee charges. So you can go it on a consignment basis or a yearly contract basis. So that lump sum amount is there. So that also you can calculate. If this situation comes in, yeah, you can please get in touch with us. We can help you with. And next comes is the bill of lading. So this is normally bill of lading will be done through the suppliers end, because bill of lading is not that you are going to do, because you are importing here. Bill of lading is the copy that issued by a exporter to a importer. Here in this case you are importing, you are an importer, you are getting it from China. So your Chinese supplier will generate the bill of copy. So that is something which you, if you are doing on Xworks, then you will do it, because your freight forwarder has a capacity to file the bill of lading and get all the documentations to you. If not, then it is the, if you are working on CIF terms, then your buyer, your supplier will do that. So then next comes is pre-clearances or submitting your bill of entry. This is your freight forwarder is going to submit it. So what is going to do, because we have a integrated system, everything is all at one place, that is IceGate. You can go through IceGate and enter, do a filing which is bill of entry, which I normally don't recommend you guys go and put your efforts and do it. Just spend a bit of a fee. Your freight forwarders or your CHA can do this for you. So submit all the invoices, packaging list and the bill of lading, whatever you have received from the client, upload it here. That should be done. So once you file it, then comes the inspections. So custom is going to inspect like, okay, are you importing something prohibited or restricted? If you are importing restricted, then you need to have a license to import it, or else your products will be just hold it back. They will not give it the products to you. All the money what you have paid to a Chinese party, it's all money has gone. And if you are not comfortable with the paying duty, even then they will hold back the products. So be careful. Compliances, duties, permissions and the money thing. If everything is clear, only then plan to import, or else your money will be stuck. Your product will be not released. It will go for auction, or else they will dispose it. They can sell it to the people only who has the license, or else they will just discard it. So this is going to be an issue. And you cannot do a high sea sale once the products are right in the port. You can do it when it's in the sea, but still if you have not done it, then your products are right there. You cannot sell it after. So these are the issues that you're going to face. And if you say like, okay, I have imported some products where I didn't have a permission and that falls under to the restriction category, then now there is an issue. In that case, what you have to do here is, either you have to go and apply for a license, get a license, and then come back and claim your product. But how many days does it going to take? So that much days of damages, storage charges, and all of that is going to be an additional cost. And the duty also comes with that, and maybe a bit of penalties or something. So that is something your CHA or a freight forwarder will help you to do that. To avoid this, please take a consultation, understand the products, only then jump in, or else do not get into this kind of imports where you are going to lose your money. So be careful on that. So then comes the releasing order, which is we call it as DO. Once you receive your DO, you are good to go with your products. Either you want to store it or either you want to pick it up. It's all good to go. So then the cargo moves to the CFS stations, where you can ask them to hold the storage, because you're arranging your transportation maybe a day or two of delay. If there is no delays, then yeah, then you can get the containers unloaded right there and just hand over the container and take your goods back to your warehouse. If that is happening, well and good. If it's not, then yeah, this is the options what you can deal with. Then the comes with the transportation and the final destination. This is just from the port area to all the way to the, because custom is cleared, no issues with that, duty is being paid, everything is got settled, and your freight forwarder is going to arrange the whole products, load it, and then it's going to come to you. But please make sure you get the quality checked. If there is no, like, you don't inspect the product, if there is nothing that you have checked the product details, and if there is something goes wrong with the products, you have paid everything, duty and everything, even you have an option to deny the products at the custom place. If you go for an inspection, and if you see the products are not the same, you can just deny, because there is a duty amount which is going to come on to you. So if you pay the duty, then the products is with you. So you can check with your freight forwarder. There are a lot of strategies we use to check the products before we getting it. So 99% what I suggest you is get the inspection at the loading point, so that you are secured if it's a non-perishable product. If it's a perishable product, then obviously you have to do another round of inspection. Only if the products are good, you pay the duty and get the products, or else you can just discard it right and there and you can disown it. So that's very important. So be sure when you're doing a clearance or a submitting bill of entry, that only you have to do it at the time of inspection. So there are a lot of minute things which I can't disclose it over the video, but you can still look for that, and you can still work it around. Okay, let's see in imports. So we have done with the imports. Now we'll jump into the exports. When you want to export any product through a sea route, what is the steps that we need to follow? The first step is going to be finding the buyer, because I have to sell something to someone, then obviously I need someone to pay for it, and then that is the buyer. Okay. So when it comes to a buyer, you need to secure the order, international order, and you need to get the confirmation agreement, and you need to negotiate on Incoterms, because it's just a role reverse. Your importer, till now we were discussing as an importer, now we are discussing as an exporter. So now you need to be sure that, okay, your buyer is understanding what Incoterms we are dealing with, or he is going to deal with the DDP or CIF or FOB. Based on the Incoterm, you need to give him the pricing, negotiate it, and payment terms and delivery terms to be very clear to your buyer, so that he doesn't rise any conflicts later. Then you need to obtain the export license, because you are exporting. If you are in India, then obviously it's one IEC code, import export code. That's all what you need. So for that, you can do export as well as imports. So in those cases, this is damn simple to deal with. For Indians, it's not a problem. But if you're watching this from any other markets, then you may have an export and import license. In few countries, export license and import license are two different things. So you need to opt for both if you want to deal in both the businesses. Or if you are exporting, then obtain the exporting license. And there will be something that additional documentation, again specific to your products. There are a set of documents that you need to deal with any product, but if you're dealing in some specific products, your industry or your particular HS code will be having a specific requirement of that. So that also varies. Then comes the booking freight option. So where once you have the licenses and every documentation is ready, your product is ready, your buyer has been agreed to it, your products, once it's been done, so book a freight, saying that, okay, on this date, I want the container to be at my place so that I can load the product. If you're dealing for the first time, you may not get the container. You can request for the containers too, because if the loading is hustle, then you can ask the freight forwarder to arrange the container itself to come to my place so that I can load it. And later, once the inspection is done, they can just seal it, the container. Or else it will be like, okay, sending the goods from the truck to the port and then loading it at CFS to the container, and then the custom officer is going to approve it, and then that's a whole process which goes on. So then prepare all the export documentations, as I said, like whatever is like commercial invoices, packaging list, certificate of origin, bill of lading. These are the standard documents. It will increase if you are dealing with some regional trade agreements, and that goes under preferential. So you have to pick the right kind of a set of documents, because if you are giving a CO, normal CO, in those cases the importer will not get tax exemptions. If you want to give the benefit of tax exemptions, then you need to make sure that you get a document which is certificate of origin preferentials. And preferentials has a additional set of documentations, what is the product being procured, submit those invoices and all of that. So once you get to those pictures, you'll get to see that, right? So bill of lading, everything you're going to file it. If it's on CIF terms or FOB terms, if it's on Ex Works, then this will be done through your buyer itself. Then custom clearances and duty payment. If there is any export duty, you need to pay that, and you need to file a shipping bill. As an importer, you are filing a bill of entry, but here you are filing a shipping bill. So through IceGate, submit all the documents and everything gets approved. And once you have LEO, which is let export order. So once your inspection and customs are very happy about it and they are good to go the products, then they will just release a LEO. Then you can take it and submit it to your export is going to move forward. Then you will get the cargo where it has been in the CFS area. It will be picked, it will be loaded to the vessels, and it will sail the sea. Once that is being done, the shipping line will release the proof of delivery or proof of loading, which is a bill of lading. That is the shipment proof that you need to give it to your buyers. And moreover, if you're done with the payment, saying that okay, payment against BL, then this BL copy is very important to get it. And it takes in India for 3 to 4 days, and some countries it's like immediate. So a lot of things are there. So you can check on that. Once you have this all custom clearances, everything is done, product has been shipped, you will get a bill of lading, and then ship that bill of lading to the courier it, or else you can send a express BL directly to the customer where you don't need to get the payments. So if you have already received 100% payment, then why should I hold the BL copy, or else why should I courier it extra? Send it with the container so that the buyer can go and just collect it, the goods directly. You don't need a bill of copies original. Then comes the goods, like the buyer has received the goods, if it's everything is good, and if you have any balance payment to be done against LC, DP or TT or something like that, you get your payments and you're sorted here. And then see, okay, if the buyer is happy, not happy, what's the good, what's bad, take a feedback and keep the relations running. So that's very important in export business. I hope you are completely clear. If you are dealing with the sea routes, these are the whole operations. 99% of the operations is going to be similar in import and export, just a role switch. Apart from that, it's all pretty cool. So here the main people comes in the buyer, the seller, the freight forwarder, the customs, and the loading and unloading people. So these are all basically you get it in the market. These are all which you can hire at a price. So pay the fee, you will be having everything. So if you have any issues here, if you want any consultations, you can get in touch with us. If you have any doubt saying that, okay, what are the license that I need to export these products, put the product detail or HS code into the comment box. We can help you with that too. And if you need a one-to-one consultations, you can book a call with me. I'll discuss and help you with the business strategy and saying that, okay, what else you need, right? So if you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon so that whenever we upload a new video, you'll get our intimations. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Take care. See you. Bye-bye.